Hey everyone, this is Pastor Doug here at the Family of Faith Lutheran Church, and it's time for an interview. This is my friend Keziah from our preschool. Keziah's been with us how many years now?
I've been here for 2 years.
2 years, my goodness, that's amazing. And it's been 2 quite exciting years. I think there was some COVID in there.
Yes.
So we are here at the Family of Faith Lutheran Church in Houston. We actually have 2 locations, one in Houston, one in Cypress, Texas. Both have preschools. We're a small church that has a big heart for little kids. And Keziah helps us with that goal of sharing the gospel in our community with young children. Keziah, what's your current role here at the Family of Faith?
I am the lead teacher for 2-year-olds, so I get to spend every day with 2-year-olds and figure out their minds and just how fascinating they are.
Oh, wow. Well, God's blessings
Yes.
to you. You have to be a high-energy person to do that kind of work. But you would also know well the parents of those children. You correspond with them regularly.
Yes, we do.
So one of the things we're trying to figure out as a church, and I think there's other churches out there trying to figure this out too, is that we have formed some habits, communication habits, that may be better for another generation instead of today. What do you think those parents that you work with, or you yourself, what is it about the physical church that we could do to communicate to them better, that would look more attractive to them?
I think what helps is that we announce ourselves on who we are and that we are a Christian-based church and that it's always part of our schedule, and that you reach out when the parents come in and you're down there. You talk to them, so it's really nice and friendly for them to see, oh, hey, here's Pastor Doug, and he's letting me know what's going on. And you tell them, hey, we have Ash Wednesday coming up at 7 o'clock, so please come to Ash Wednesday, and you're always there. And it's really good for the church. And when we have tours, parents come and they see the church, so they see our chapel time, they see what we're doing, and it's really good for them, especially young moms, because they're not here with us all the time. So I think for the church to reach out to the parents and say, these are our events coming up, please come. And some of the parents do come and they participate, and we've had long relationships with all these parents because of the church and what they see. And it's just really nice to have that.
So having early childhood education and care is a service that you see warmly received by parents in our community, and then may lead to additional meetings, either with the pastor or people in a worship service where we could encourage them. So you would say we're speaking Modern Mom in a good way when we offer our community preschool?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Now, my understanding, correct me if I have this wrong, that currently you're not a mother.
No, I'm not.
Okay. But would you be interested in being a mom someday? And if so, you're maybe a little younger than some of our moms. We need a communication process that would last a while. Do you think reaching out to the community with early childhood would be good for your generation? And is there anything else, physical, church-wise, that we could do to connect well with your generation?
I think that it would be good for a younger generation like myself who are moms for them to come to the church, because, it helps a lot. Just talking about it. I think the church-wise is maybe like sending out videos to the parents that we have now. Look what we did on Sunday, and look what the children are doing on Sunday church, because the Sunday church also does their kids' time. Right. So it's nice that they're also learning, and the parents are seeing what we're doing during church time on Sundays and kid mass. So I think that's really nice.
So early childhood education care speaks to today's parents whose children you're watching, and you expect it would continue to do so into the future. And I heard you say, we could use some electronic media. Now let's shift to that.
Okay.
So electronic media, virtual media, this has become very popular during COVID. We're now out of COVID. Do you feel like we really, as a church, do we still need to use social media? Is that important for us, or can we just skip that? Can we just skip social media?
I don't think skipping social media would be a good thing, because a lot of people are on social media. They're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. TikTok, all these different places, seeing these advertisements. I myself have gone into different stuff because of the things I've seen on social media. So I think it's a good idea for us to not skip that. Yes, COVID is kind of gone, but there are still people who are cautious and don't want to risk them going out and accidentally getting COVID. So it's good that you still post on Facebook or church services so they can still participate even though they're not here. So I don't think we should skip on social media. I think we should post a little bit more so they can see when Joey's singing for church time, when the kids are doing something for chapel and they're entertaining. I think that is stuff that parents would love to see and it interests them.
So I'm hearing you say definitely need to keep doing social media. This is true of the families that you're serving currently and true of your own generation. Now, I'm understanding, and I'm in no way expert on this, but when it comes to social media platforms, different generations have a taste for different platforms. Mm-hmm. What do you see out there? What do the parents that you're working with, what do they seem to like? What does your generation seem to like? How can we connect with modern moms? Is there a one platform that's better than another, or do we need to be strategically placed on various platforms? What's your input on that?
I think we need to put on various platforms because they are younger moms that are like mostly on Facebook or Instagram. And then there's some moms who are on TikTok and YouTube. So there's different platforms for different ages of mom of how they've matured over their years. So I know like TikTok's it's getting really popular and most of the kids and moms are watching it, but also some of our older moms are on Facebook and some of our younger moms are also on Facebook. So I think it's just good to have an all-around platform, even though let's say you're on Facebook and it doesn't get as much as it does on TikTok, but still do it on Facebook because if TikTok starts going down, then you have it on Facebook there.
Cover the waterfront there is what I heard you say, and that perhaps TikTok's more visited by a younger segment of the population, maybe a little older segment of the population on Facebook, but that's not a hard and fast rule. Mm-hmm. So it's better to go ahead and put out content on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, Twitter, and cover YouTube, make all those have some kind of presentation. Now, if we're going to do that, various platforms seem to have various formatting. Seems to me like TikTok is very just seconds. This is a little, they usually have the person on rewind, doing a little dance or something. So how often do we need to put content out there? Is it something that we need to make every day? Do we need to post once a week? What does it take in order to have some connectivity with Modern Mom?
I would say at least twice a week. Maybe 3 times. I wouldn't say every single day because then people get tired of it because it's the same thing every single time and that's just like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm done with it. So I think every other day would be a good thing because people are like, oh, they'll swipe and stuff and then a couple of days later they'll see the same thing and like, oh, that's really interesting. And then a couple of days later, like, oh, wow, I really like that. Maybe I'll try that or maybe I'll go to their church.
Love it. So we're hearing that social media is important. It's not okay for the church to skip it. And actually, more would be better on numerous platforms and probably every other day. So we're talking a pretty good effort there. One post may take 30 minutes to an hour to produce, perhaps if there was some video involved, if you had to recruit the individual. But it's a pretty good amount of effort. Now, what I also heard you say is the use of all that is a way for the parent to look at what is there at the church, look at what's there at our preschool in a safe manner.
Yes.
So there's some feeling of safety and security with how many interactions do you think that a modern mom would need before she felt, I think I want to actually visit there or pick up the phone and call them? Does she need to see a dozen interactions online? Does she need to see months? So how long does this work? Does it make any sense? How many Instagrams does mom need to see before she sees that as something I want to go do?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
Every once in a while, like I have tried things like I see it a couple, 3 good 4 times, and then I'm like, okay, let's go do that.
Okay.
So it can take 10 times, 20 times, 5 times, 1 time. It depends on who the person is and who the modern mom is. It really does, because if the modern mom really sees our church is a good running church, is spiritual, is amazing, they're like, okay, let me call them. Let's see how this church is going to go. Let's see what my benefit's going to be. And maybe one day I'll go in and I'll listen to Pastor Doug, and we'll see what goes from there.
So we don't really know exactly. It just depends. Some people might find 4 or 5 enough to say, I'm picking up the phone or I'm going to go visit. Others, it might take many years. You just don't know. So you might as well just put out every other day, hoping for that interaction. Then when we have this interest, back to what does mom expect to find? What is she trying to get help in? She's trying to get help for. And of course, in early childhood, it's care of the child. Mm-hmm. But is there any more than that mom is looking for the church to help her with?
I think she's looking for help for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that if her child's enrolled, he or she is getting the best care they can. Now it's her turn to make sure she's getting her best care by coming and listening and talking with you and saying, this is what I need. Can you please help me? This is for me. I know my child is in great hands. I know they're succeeding and learning. Now it's my turn for me to open up. So
moms need help too. They may come into the market of ideas looking for, boy, I have a baby, I have a young child, I have a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. I need someone to help me with the child care. But there's more. Mm-hmm. That she knows she has some needs too. These could various spiritual needs. Could be needs with a marriage. Could be needs with how she feels about herself as a mom, or just her own self-perspective as she's maturing as a woman. Mm-hmm. So the church could help her with those things, especially if there was a warm environment where she found moms in like time of life. Would you say that would be something that would be attractive to a young mom, that she would have other young moms that she could correspond with?
Yeah, it's really easy. Like everyone says, you have to have a friend in something, in work, in life, in gym, in church. You always have to have somebody there so you can go back and say, this is how I'm feeling. Help me understand it. And I think with young moms together as a group, and they can make a bigger group, and they're all talking, and now they're worshiping, and it's because they start here and they felt comfortable, and I felt comfortable to make a friend here, and now we've made more friends.
Excellent. Just a couple more questions. You've been so generous. Thank you. So, have you ever seen a mom who comes in for a tour who's absolutely brand new to the idea of a church?
Yes.
What does that person look like, and what do you think they're looking for in the church?
I think what they're looking for is they're kind of scared at first because they're like, well, I'm not quite sure if I'm comfortable because we are a faith-based church, preschool. And it's like, well, I'm not comfortable. I don't know if I'm comfortable with my kid learning. Once they see us in action, going to chapel and stuff, it's that, oh, okay, maybe they're fine. Maybe I can actually open up and let's try this. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's a little scared, but it's also, okay, I'm willing to do it.
So we have parents out there who have a relationship with Jesus. Others don't have a relationship with Jesus. And when they come into the building, either for preschool or for church, we can assume these people have some anxiety about this first exchange. This, what they call it, portal anxiety, where when we come to the portal of the church, the doors of the church, there's what's going to be in there, what's going to happen when I go in there. So we need to be sensitive, because we don't know when people are going to come for a tour or visit our church. Mm-hmm. We need to be sensitive that they're not yet comfortable. How do you find yourself trying to help people like that feel comfortable?
I think by letting them know that since we don't push it on people. We don't say, this is the right way to do it. This is how we're going to do it. No, we say, this is what we're doing this week for chapel. We're learning about Jesus feeds 5,000. This is what we're going to be doing. we're going to take it slow, paces at a time. And once they get comfortable enough, it's more, okay, now let's do a bigger thing. Let's read the stories. Let's watch the videos. Let's do interactive. So it's more of just step by step, and then it's just like, okay, we're good. Now I feel comfortable with them being here, with me being here.
So it's just a matter of patience, realizing things don't happen immediately, and just constantly encouraging every step of the way. And we've seen children come in at 18 months old, and we've seen children leave at 5 years old. They're here the whole time. Let's say back to that mom who's really, really new. So you've seen moms who come in anxious and they become more familiar. Do you find that person to begin developing a relationship with you, a care provider, beyond just the topics of childcare?
I do. It's really nice because I still do talk to some parents that are out of our childcare facility, but it is nice because they do open up and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. Can you please help me? Or talk to somebody and like have them help me, or maybe should I start going to church again over here and like open up? I'm like, yes, of course. That's a great way to start, is just going back to your roots, either talking to me or coming to church or just talking to somebody and realizing, okay, like we're fine. Like,
so there's more than childcare going on at childcare. There's life needs. Those life needs, people do connect. We don't know who they're going to connect with. That could be the child care provider. It could be the aide. It could be the front desk person. It could be the site director. Maybe all those people have a relationship. And that relationship may be contained within the time of the child's enrollment. But it's also happened beyond the time of their enrollment, where they stay connected. You're still affecting that person in their spiritual walk. They still feel comfortable with you doing self-revelation, where they're saying, this is a concern of mine, and it's well and beyond the child care need. Really appreciate your insights. What we've been learning about is the physical church. What could the physical church do to speak the language, if you will, of Modern Mom? What could the online church do? And do you think there's really that big a difference between your generation? Would we call it the Z generation? Okay. And then there's the millennial generation that's a little more years beyond yourself. Is there a big difference? And if so, what should we consider as the difference?
I think maturity is the difference, like a big one, because I'm getting out of college right now. I just finished high school not too long ago. And I don't think there's a big difference between us. There's no reason to have all these like millennials and Gen Z for me, because we all still are the same people. But I think one of them is maturity, because if you're mature enough to think like a millennial and act like a Gen Z, then, you're just one person.
Right. So there's a difference between Gen Z and millennials. Some of it's just a matter of having more life experience. But I believe we are getting into a time where we're starting to see Gen Z mom come to our preschool. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And Gen Z is now entering parenthood. And this is just kind of now happening. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you've been so helpful. We appreciate it. Online, thank you so much for listening in. And we hope this helps the people at Best Practices Ministry Conference. Thank you, Keziah.
Thank you.
Take care. Well done. Good.